Hey folks, it's Matt once again. Welcome back to another review of the film Miracle Mile, which people say, why are you reviewing this in the October? Well, first off, because I want to, and second off, it's kind of horror, different kind of horror, but horrific maybe. But this is a film that director Steve De Jarnatt wrote and directed. He only made two films, Cherry 2000, which I never saw, but I just never had any interest in seeing, to be honest. And this was, I believe, the last film he directed. I believe he went on to do some TV work, but film-wise, I believe it's the... Could be wrong, but I believe it's the last film he did. And I know it was a film he was passionate about. Yeah, Tangerine Dream doing the music. I thought they did a great job, especially the opening theme. And even the music in the end credits, I thought, definitely my two favorite pieces of the score. And picked up the Blu-ray from Kino Lorber a while ago, a few months ago, and just got around to watching the features. And the features are alright. You have two commentary tracks, one with the director and a critic, the other with the director, the DP, and the production designer. You have some deleted scenes, about 15 minutes long. You have a little supporting cast reunion where they talk a few minutes with some of the folks like Kurt Fuller, who has a supporting role, Brian Thompson, who of course was in that film Cobra, which you can barely see behind me. Denise Crosby, who were going to be Pet Sematary, or maybe I'd done Pet Sematary because I think this was 89, this film came out. Other places say 88, but other places say 89, and the back of this Blu-ray says 89, as well as this DVD. So I'm going to go with 89. But I'll talk about that stuff at the end of the video because I want to talk about more about the film. And I never care for this cover though, so I'll use this. I like this cover better. And this is the first one I had. That's why you have two. So I had first picked this up long time ago. And I first saw the film on TV. Had no idea what the film was. And when I first saw it, I was really impressed by it and enjoyed it to this day, Miracle Mile. God, how do I go into this film? And one of the reasons I wanted to pick it up is because this is actually anamorphic widescreen, while this is standard, so this is definitely better looking. Plus, it had features. But the story, Anthony Edwards, who was in Top Gun and he's been in a few other films, he falls in love with this woman played by Mare Winningham, and they have a great day together. And he wants to get together with her when she gets off work. He goes to bed, but then he wakes up late because his power goes out, and he's supposed to meet her at this coffee shop. Again, he's running late, and when he gets there, there's a phone booth ringing, and he picks up the phone. And pretty much, what would you do if you picked up a phone at a phone booth, or phone anywhere now, and the guy on the other end said, in about 70 minutes, a nuclear war is going to happen. The bombs are going to hit. What are you going to do if you get that phone call? So, spreading the word of mouth, panic, trying to get the Mare Winningham, meeting some people. I know there's some comparisons to another film, which I did like, called After Hours by Martin Scorsese. I do like that film. Some offbeat elements to it. Characters. And it's one of those things when you watch the film, there's a lot of recognizable people throughout. Michael T. Williamson, who would be Bubba Gump and Forrest Gump. An appearance by Denise Crosby, who was in Pet Sematary and Tasha for Such a Next Generation, and documentaries I enjoyed, Trekkies and Trekkies 2. Brian Thompson, who was the villain in Cobra, he makes an appearance. Kurt Fuller, I remember him as a bad guy, No Holds Barred, and he's been in a lot of films. You definitely recognize the guy. He was in Wayne's World as well. Jeanette Goldstein from Aliens has a tiny part. The Sarge guy from RoboCop. He was in, I think, all three of the RoboCop films. I think he's passed away, unfortunately. The psychiatrist from Terminator, and he was in T2, makes a cameo in T3. He has a little tiny role. So throughout the film, you see some recognizable people. Kelly Jo Minter, who was in People Under the Stairs and Nightmare on Elm Street Part 5, she makes a tiny role. So again, even Peter Bird, like during their date, Anthony Edwards' character plays the trombone. If you see the scene where he's playing the trombone, there's a guy in front of him playing, I believe, a flute. And that's Peter Bird. I believe it was a film that like got his SAG card or something. Who, of course, would go on to be in Shocker. So he probably did this big role, and then that got him into Shocker, which is nice. But yeah, what would you do if you got that phone call? And what worked, I remember the first time I saw this, what really worked for me was not knowing, was the phone call real? Was it not real? Meaning, are they going to drop? Are they not going to drop? Did he cause a panic and riot that people get killed, cops get killed, and it's his fault? Or are the bombs really going to drop and everything's going to end? And the first 15-20 minutes is this romance between these two, their day together, going to meet up. And then once it hits that phone booth scene, man, I remember that's, even watching it on this today, that scene was gripping, riveting, what the pop boiler, however word you want to call it. Just him on the phone, hearing about all this, and it's all done in one take, and pushing right into Anthony Edwards' face and his reactions, and what would you think if someone on the end is telling you all this, and then you hear gunshots, and then someone goes, "Forget everything you just heard, go back to sleep," and then again you're this throughout the film. It's like, was it a dream? Not a dream, but although some people make that case if you like read message boards. Granted, yeah, it's not a dream, but you can think that if you want. If it makes you enjoy the film more, sure, go ahead. But that's not really what the director was going for. But hey, if it makes you enjoy the film, why not? Fuck it. But I thought the acting was really good. I thought the lighting, the fact this film was made on like $4 million. And Miracle Mile is a place in Los Angeles. For those who don't know what Miracle Mile is. And they got a lot of production considering the small budget. And you have a heartbreaking ending, which I'm not going to give away yet for those who didn't see it. Because either way, either he caused the death of so many people from false information, or the bombs drop. Whatever happens, I'm going to not spoil that for you yet. But, and it's a short film. It's under 90 minutes. Tangerine Dream did a fantastic job. I mean, I love the opening music when the camera's panning through the museum, when Anthony Edwards and Mare Winningham first meet. And you have that great music, Tangerine Dream. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. And then the music at the end, credits, very well done as well. My two favorite pieces of the score, but Tangerine Dream was a great fit for the film. Considering the guy's only directed 2 movies, I thought this was handled very well directorial-wise. Again, it was nice to see all these recognizable people in the background. Oh, there's Denise Crosby. Oh, there's the guy from Terminator films. Oh, there's Jeanette Goldstein, which, I mean, after Aliens, I thought she would get more work, but here, I don't think her character doesn't even have a name. It's like you see her in 2 scenes and she has an Uzi. That's it. And she doesn't shoot it. But, and I really liked the 2 leads. I thought the 2 leads worked very well together. one of the interesting things on the interview that they shared together is they were actually both up for that movie, The Sure Thing, with John Cusack and Daphne Zuniga. They did not get that, but they were later get this together. So I thought that was interesting that they had possibility of working together before. And I thought they worked well. I thought the chemistry worked well. I bought them being in love with each other, even though it's pretty quick. And at times it does have a surreal quality to it. It does have an offbeat quality to it. I mean, when you have Anthony Edwards pushing a sleeping Mare Winningham in a shopping cart through L.A., there's certain moments. Brian Thompson, which I thought was interesting, his role, because they're looking for a pilot to get out of there, just in case. And Brian Thompson's at the gym, and you realize that, well, he goes, I need to bring someone with me. And then when he goes out, he comes back, it's another guy. So that says that he's gay, but they don't play it up over the top. They don't play it up limp-wristed, over the top, anything. He's just a straightforward guy. And you find out at the end he's an honorable guy, which I'll get to when I get more into spoilers. But yeah, sort of off-kilter stuff. I mean, Kurt Fuller, he has a few scenes, and his character is totally apeshit. Kind of like at the end of No Holds Barred. He's just totally out there, Kurt Fuller. It was nice to see Michael T. Williamson. He was also in The First Power, which is a favorite of mine. And it's one of those films that I thought was well-directed, well-acted, made me feel something, especially as the movie kept ratcheting up. I thought it had a good tension to it. I guess you would call it a good thriller, however you want to put it. I thought it used its budget very well in the production, especially this scene here where it gets to we're panicked in the streets, cars blocked off, and he's standing on top, trying to figure out what to do next, where to go. And just a really cool premise for a movie. Very cool premise. I'm surprised they have not remade it. Not that I don't think it needs it, but I'm just surprised. Of course, now that I said that, I'm sure it'll happen sometime. But I gotta get into spoilers as to why I enjoy the film more. So spoilers starting now. Like I said, the build up. I remember the first time I saw it, I didn't care for the build up. I thought it was kind of tacky, and I remember thinking the dialogue was kind of wonky. But I don't know, watching it again on the Blu-ray, it didn't bother me at all. So it's kind of strange. Maybe I got used to it. I don't know. But then when it gets to the 20 minutes mark, again, that phone call, and he's in the phone booth, and the guy just, this guy called thinking he was getting his dad, but he called the wrong phone number. And I think everyone's like, is this a prank call? What's going on here? What's happening? And again, hearing the gunshots, hearing someone say, forget everything. It just really plays in a way, paranoia, in a way, distrust of information. Do I trust this information? Could this be bullshit? Do I let people know? Do I go back to bed? But, he tells people. He's like, hey, this is what I heard. And some people are like, what? What are you talking about? Denise Crosby gets on the phone, talks to someone. Some people start believing it and want to get the fuck out of there just in case. And pretty much it's Anthony Edwards spreading the word on this, retelling what he heard. And Anthony Edwards like, I gotta go get Mare Winningham's character. I gotta go find her. Character's name is Julie. And there's this desperate search for her. And again, meeting these people. He meets Michael T. Williamson, which is funny because in the credits they spell his name wrong. But because Michael T. Let's see if there's on the back here. But yeah, anyway, you can look it up. They spell his name wrong because it's like Mykelti, and then went Mykel, and then nothing, and then just a T, and then Williamson. But anyway, I just thought that was funny because even the commentator they mentioned they screwed up and spelling his name wrong. But they meet him and he's boosting car stereos and he gets them to go somewhere. And it just things ratchet up. There's a gas station, there's cops, gas gets spread, a cop is blinded, shoots in the air, 2 cops die because they're on fire. Has to lie to Michael T. Williamson saying, "Oh, because I work, it's a meltdown. I work somewhere at the Atomic Commission or whatever, just to get where he needs to go." And little stuff. I mean, Mare Winningham's grandparents who never talked to each other for years, they finally get together and don't spend their final moments together. Try and get to the rooftop to get to a chopper. Then they gotta find a pilot. Again, Kerfool is apeshit. The first time we see him, he's like talking about how Denise Crosby told him to put this and put that there, and he actually calls her, I don't know if I should say the word, it starts with a C and rhymes with punt. But and then at the end he's got his shirt off and he's like gets a bottle of wine or whatever, just breaks it and chugs it down. And Tor Fuller, if you recognize, if you see him, you'll recognize him. It's like I've seen this, and I believe he was in The Running Man as well. I mean, he's been in quite a few flicks when you look him up. I can just these recognizable people. It's like that's Jeanette Goldstein. I'm surprised she got like a tiny part that again doesn't even have a name. I think it's like Beverly Hills Chick or something like that, or in the credits or something like that. But again, it's this nice momentum going on with the film. What's going to happen next? Is it really going to happen? Is it really not going to happen? Even Michael T. Williamson, he's in a cop car and it crashes into a store, and he has his sister who's dying, and that's Kelly Joel Mentor's character, and she dies, and he's telling Anthony Edwards to shoot me, and I'm gone anyway. But he dies of his wounds, and that realization of Anthony Edwards, oh my God, I can't believe what's happening. I can't believe, maybe this isn't, this didn't, maybe the guy was full of it. What did I do? What did I cause? And of course, spoiler, the cops leave, there's panic riots, and the bombs are going to drop. And like I was saying, Brian Thompson, he's an honorable guy because he says he's going to come back, and he does, to pick up Anthony Edwards and Mare Winningham, but the EMP blast fucks at the helicopter, crashes, and the two of them share some final moments. Anthony Edwards tries to calm her down, saying, even mentions Superman, like he could take charcoal and crunch it and it'd be a diamond, and tells about how it maybe will be diamonds, and try have their final moments together. And then you have this big blast, and usually endings like this piss me off, and in a way I would have preferred just an ending with these two getting away to safety, because that's the kind of guy I am. But for some reason, even when I first saw it, it didn't kill the movie for me. And I don't know, maybe because because it made me feel something, and I felt for the characters, I liked them, and I don't call it a tragic love story, because there's certain love stories that end in tragedy. Call it a movie about if you only have moments to live. I think it says here, desperate search for Julie, the one person with whom he wants to spend the last moments of his life. Which ultimately he does. He says a line at the beginning of the film, which kind of puts into perspective, like he spent 30 years to find the right girl, and he finally found her. Of course, again, like I said, if you look on the message board, there are people who don't want to believe that and say, hey, yeah, that's the way. But if you look at it a certain way, you could say it's a dream because he went to sleep and maybe this is a fucked up dream he had. And when it explodes, he's going to wake up. Because even the director admits there's a scene at the beginning of the film, the first scene, which doesn't make sense when you look back on it, because he's playing a trombone with a picture of the woman, and there's no way that scene would fit. Because he only spent one day with her, and then when it got to nighttime, he went directly home, went directly into his bed, at least as we saw, and went to bed. So why would this seem... I mean, the director admits it on here. And it's like a little touch, and I know he mentioned something on the commentary with the moderator by Walter, I can't pronounce his last name. I believe he was credited with Variety, who enjoyed the film, that maybe to give people an out that it's a dream, but it's not definitive. I know he mentions that. So granted, that's not his intention that it was a dream, but if you want to do that, you can. And it's not like Total Recall where that's the big point. Is it a dream? Is it not? That's like a far-fetched one. But it's still something you could think of. If you really, if it really makes you want to like the film, feel free. But granted, I would love to have them get away, be safe, but maybe because, I bought the love between those two that, okay, I thought it was well done. And it's not the way I would have gone if I directed the movie, but I know the guy took a lot of years to make it, and he would have gotten a bigger budget if he changed the ending. And even Anthony Edwards had a funny thing in his interview where when he first read it, he was pissed off by the ending too, and he threw it. And then, I'm not doing this. You have this pull-up story, and then it ends like this. And then the director's like, tell me the story, the whole story. And then after he told it, then he decided to do the film. And but maybe because I thought the rest of the film was well done, well handled. I don't really have any problems with it. The actor deal with the ending like that, but it's definitely also lends into that apocalyptic horror element too, which was a point of time in that even to this day still worry about nuclear weapons and so forth. So it plays to that fear, but at the same time it plays to certain elements you'll look at, the apocalyptic level, that surreal level that you just saw in films like Martin Scorsese's After Hours, the offbeat level, the, if you want to think of it as a dream, the dream level, the tragic love story level, and all sorts of things. That, I mean, granted, it's like a wise man once said, it is one big bummer. But at the same time, it's like, true love was there, and then, I don't know, it's just, for some reason, I can't even put in the words why it doesn't bother me. That's why I'm spending so long talking about it, but it doesn't. Who knows, maybe people in the comments will have better understanding, better handling of that reasoning. But it's definitely a film that made me feel, made me think for a little bit. Not a long movie at all. The features, again, commentary by director, moderated by Walter C-H-A-W. I'm not sure you pronounce that Chow or Chaw, but that goes more to the themes of the film and so forth. Then the commentary with the director, the DP, and production design are more technical. Again, evacuations for the editing room, tar pits, some deleted scenes, a little bit of some outtakes. Supporting cast and crew reunion. That's a bit too short. It was only like 12 minutes long. maybe 14 minutes long. And they had like a lot of people. They had Denise Crosby, Kurt Fuller, Brian Townsend, Jeanette Goldstein, and a few others. No Michael T. Williamson. The guy who was from RoboCop has passed away. Maybe the guy who was the psychiatrist Terminator, he might have passed away. I'm not sure. But that could have been a lot longer because, like, Jeanette Goldstein's there and she really doesn't have anything to say other than what she's doing nowadays. And that I play a character that didn't have a name, and like I wish they would have interviewed each single person more in depth on the film. It's not that long of a reunion. Again, it's like 12, 14 minutes long. I think it could have been a lot longer, a lot more in depth. So I feel that could have been a lot better. Because it's a cool idea because they brought them all back together at the coffee shop that the film took place in. But it could have been a lot longer. Interview with stars Anthony Edwards and Mare Winningham. It was nice to see some little nice stuff to hear. But again, I wish it was longer because I think that's the one that's about 12 minutes long. I think that could have been longer. 12 minutes just seem a bit too short. It feels a bit too short. Alternate diamond ending, that's not much. It's pretty much the same thing, but when the blast hits, you see two diamonds formed. That you could put your own 2 cents of what that means. That's really it. It's like a 3-second change, so or a 10-second addition, so it's nothing much. Trailers for Miracle Mile and Cherry 2000, only 2 films the guy ever directed. But I'm so glad I have this because it looks good on Blu-ray, and again, it's anamorphic, while this was standard definition. Yeah, because I don't even think this was widescreen. I mean, it says standard. Modified to fit your screen. But I think it's a good-looking film. Anthony Edwards said it's like an art film from the 80s. It's an 80s art film. And I can understand seeing the film again. It's some nice lighting, nice director of photography did a great job shooting the film, especially with the low budget they had. Once again, great job by Tangerine Dream, great job by the cast. And overall, really enjoyed Miracle Mile. I really like this film. I've I know I talked about this film, I think, on my old channel years ago. And it's one of those films I always mention because obviously I'm not the only one because it gets a 7.0 on IMDb. So, but I know this film didn't do anything when it came out. But yeah, really enjoy the film. Really liked it. Yeah, if I directed, I would have changed the ending. But it's one of those endings that usually I get more pissed off. But I don't know if I learned to live with it, or I kind of understood what the director was going for, or I just thought it was the film itself was handled very well. But either way, really enjoy Miracle Mile. If you're wondering, that's what the inside looks like. But thanks for watching. Take care, and we will see you later. Bye-bye.